Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone together, a little louder. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, everyone together, one more time. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Rama, everyone together, a little louder with your heart. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Rama, one more time, a little louder. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Rama, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All Krishna Shri Prabhupada. Welcome to devotees to today's class. We will be discussing from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 6, chapter 6, verses 77 and on. And the chapter entitled is The Glories of Sri Advaita Acharya. We are very happy to have His Holiness Candramauli Swami with us. What I would like to let devotees know, Maharaj, if you don't mind me sharing this, Maharaj was stuck in traffic for 23 hours, missed his flight, got himself to Mayapur in the afternoon. And Maharaj, you look ever so youthful, Maharaj. No one would say that you were stuck in traffic for 23 hours. It's only by your mercy, Maharaj, that you are here, and we are so fortunate to hear from you. Thank you so much for sacrificing so much for us.
The devotees prayed, and somehow I got unstuck.
Maharaj, you are amazing. I have to say, but you're amazing. Thank you. So grateful, Maharaj. And it's all yours.
Thank you. Yeah, it was an adventure, no doubt.
I don't know how, Maharaj, being stuck in traffic at 23 hours, it's Hare Krishna.
And then in the middle of the night, when we got unstuck, I went right to the airport and took my flight. We stayed up the whole night straight through.
Maharaj, no one would say that you were up all night. You look ever so youthful. Thank you for your mercy, Maharaj.
Oh, I try to stay young.
Thank you, Maharaj. So grateful, so grateful.
Thank you. It was fun. It wasn't fun.
Maharaj, only you will say it's fun.
The experience, and there's much more I could say, but it was an experience. Okay, so let's get into the fast lane of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda teṅho āpanāke karena dāsa-bhāvanā kṛṣṇa-dāsa-bhāva vinu āche kona janā. He also considers himself a servant of Lord Kṛṣṇa. Indeed, who is there who does not have this conception of being a servant of Lord Kṛṣṇa? Sarasya vadanayena shesha sankarsana dāsa-deha dara kare kṛṣṇa-dāsa-bhāvanā. He who is Sesha, Sankarsana, with his thousands of mouths, serves Sri Krishna by assuming 10 forms. Ananta Brahmane Rudra Sadashiver Amsa Guna Avatara Teṅho Sarva Deva Avatamsa. Rudra is an expansion of Sadashiva and who appears in the unlimited universes is also a good nation. It is the ornament and is the ornament of all the demigods in the endless universes. There are 11 expansions of Rudra or Shiva. They are as follows: Ajay Kapat, Abhibrahna, Abhibrahnya, Virupaksa, Raivata, Hara, Bahurupa, Devashrestha, Trimrabhaka, Savatra, Jayanta, Piniki, and Aparajita. Besides these expansions, there are 8 forms of Rudra called earth, water, air, fire, sky, the sun, moon, and Somayaji. Generally, all these Rudras have 5 faces, 3 eyes, and 10 arms. Sometimes it's found that Rudra is compared to Brahma and considered a living entity. But when Rudra is explained to be a partial expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is compared to Shesha. Lord Shiva is therefore simultaneously an expansion of Lord Vishnu and in his capacity for annihilating the creation, one of the living entities. As an expansion of Lord Vishnu, he is called Hara, and he is transcendental to the material qualities. But when he is in touch with Tamagun, he appears contaminated by the material modes of nature. This is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam and the Brahma Samhita. The Srimad Canto, it is stated that Rudra is always associated with the material nature when she is in the neutral, unmanifested stage, but when the modes of material nature are agitated, he associates with material nature from a distance. In the Brahma Samhita, the relation between Vishnu and Lord Shiva is compared to that between milk and yogurt. Milk is converted into yogurt by certain additives, but although milk and yogurt have the same ingredients, they have different functions. Similarly, Lord Shiva is an expansion of Lord Vishnu, yet because of his taking the part of annihilation of the cosmic manifestation, he is considered to be changed, like milk converted into yogurt. In the Puranas, it is found that Shiva appears sometimes from the heads of Brahma and sometimes from the head of Vishnu. The annihilator Shrudra is born from Sankarsana and the ultimate fire to burn the whole creation. In the Vayu Purana, there's a description of Sadashiva. And one of the Vaikuntha planets, that Sadashiva, is a direct expansion of Lord Krishna's forms for pastimes. It is said that Sadashiva, Lord Sambhu, is an expansion of Sadashiva in the Vaikuntha planets. Lord Vishnu, and that his consort, Mahamaya, is the expansion of Ramadevi or Lakshmi. Mahamaya is the origin or birthplace of material nature. Chaksu unmilitam yena tasmai si gurave namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pachani Nirasesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya Desatarne Vanchakopa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhupe Bacha Titanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're hearing about Rudra, expansion of Sadashiva. He's a guna avatar and is the ornament of the demigods in the endless universes. He's an expansion of Lord Shiva. And he plays different roles in relationship to the material energy. When Mahavishnu expands himself, he glances over material energy, which is in his aggregate form. And therefore, in that glance, there is the glance of Lord Rudra or Sadashiva, who agitates the material energy and puts it into what we say. It breaks it into the components. Therefore, before they were all amalgamated into one, now they become individual. And those components that make up the activities, or not the activities, they make up the components of the material energy, such as earth, water, fire, air, sky, sun, moon, somayaji, so many things. In other words, the material energy is now moved. And then Lord Brahma, he's born from an expansion of Mahavishnu known as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And under the direction of Lord Vishnu, after praying to Lord Vishnu to understand his identity and his service, he becomes self-realized, and then he takes those material energies and formulates them into the bodies of the 8,400,000 species. And that glance coming from Mahavishnu contains the living entities from their previous manifestation in the last creation. And then, along with Lord Shiva and along with the time factor is also there, because the time factor manifests itself in the material energy. There is an element of time factor in the spiritual energy, but it works different than the time factor in the material energy. And this spiritual energy, it enhances Krishna's pastimes. In the material energy, the time factor brings things about on the material level, moves things along according to its particular activity or position, and then it eventually winds things up. So then Rudra comes in, and Rudra becomes an expansion of Lord Shiva, and he dances, and that dance is the dance of Pralaya, and then destruction takes place. All of the universes are wound up and again into the body of Mahavishnu along with the living entities until the next manifestation appears according to the eternal time factor. It's very technical, but it's interesting. And you have different expansions of Lord Rudra, who is Shiva, but they play different roles according to the nature of their expansions. It says here, it describes them as having 5 faces, 3 eyes, and 10 arms. Is compared Brahma, sometimes he's compared to a living entity. So it's quite technical, but most of it is understood in the roles that Rudra plays in relationship to both the eternal living entities and the manifested in living entities who appear in the material world. So it's interesting. We should, in the very beginning of the Bhagavatam, we find a lot of this explanation of creation is manifested with many of the details. And there's a lot of emphasis on it. First of all, to teach the conditioned souls how the material energy works and how it comes from the Supreme Lord himself, as opposed to the so-called theories of these modern day scientists and others who have no understanding behind the movement of the material energy, behind the inception of the material energy is the hand of the Lord directly. They think material energy combines with itself in different forms of itself and produces another form. But they don't understand that in any sort of activities, there's always a living entity. Matter cannot create anything by its own volition because it has no volition. It's dead. It's just what it is. But as soon as it's touched by spirit, it moves. Like I was looking at a flag today as it was flapping. Now the flag is just a piece of, canvas hooked up to a pole. And it moves, and it's moving up and down, but what is it doing? It's moving by the force of the wind. Without the force of the wind, the flag has no movement. And then you might say, well, is the wind a living entity? But actually, the wind is coming from another source, and that is, as Krishna says, Bhumir apanalobhaya kamana buddhave vacha ahankar iti me bina prakriti astada. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are my separated material energies. And then, of course, Krishna goes on in the next verse to explain there's another energy, which is not material, it's not created, it is eternal, and that in energy is all living entities who are my parts and parcels. Or in other words, it exists because of my existence only. So that's very interesting. And one of the reasons why we hear so much detailed explanation is because the essence of the Srimad Bhagavatam, or the teachings of transcendental knowledge, is to understand Krishna and his pastimes in Sri Vrindavan Dham. But when you look at it, you'll see it looks ordinary. Like Krishna is just playing. He's stealing butter as a little boy. He plays mischief with his friends. He takes care of cows. He has many girlfriends. He does things that people do on this level, but it is not even remotely comparable in the sense that what he does is transcendental to all material energy and is pure spiritual essence. But unless we understand Krishna as the creating factor of existence, it becomes very difficult and practically impossible to understand his pastimes in Vrindavan. That same person who manifests all of the universes and who moves those universes by his different energies is the same person who steals butter from his neighboring village members. So the point is to give a very clear understanding of God, both as the all-powerful creating force and the manifestation of the ultimate sweetness in his Vrindavan pastimes, which appear to be ordinary, but are not ordinary, although they look similar to the activities that the conditioned souls perform in this world. But of course, the comparison is never 100%, but it's similar in the sense that we also play, we also steal, we also have friends, we also do all of these other things, but not in the same mood. Our mood is for our own enjoyment. Krishna does it for the enjoyment of all living entities, and it is never, it has all of the qualities in it to inspire the living entity in the process of serving the Supreme Personality of God. Where material activities just take us away from that position of being the eternal servant of the Lord. So these detailed explanations of the cosmic creations are interesting. Rudra is further explained in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam when he appears from the anger of Lord Brahma. So here, that's when sometimes he is compared to Brahma. When Brahma was creating the living entities, he appeared from his body the Chatur-Shanusana, the four Kumaras, who are the sons of Brahma. Now Brahma, being their father, had a particular service for them. And in order for them to do their service, they were required to take up the Grihastha ashram, in other words, to get married. But they had no inclination towards that, and therefore they refused to get married. Brahma became angry because of his expansions weren't following his design or desire. And from that anger, he manifested Lord Rudra, or we might say Lord Shiva. So Shiva appears from Brahma, but actually Shiva is greater than Brahma in the sense that he has more of the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead than Brahma does. Brahma is a jiva, and Shiva he is within his own category. He's neither Jiva Shakti or he's the Vishnu Shakti. He is Shiva Shakti, or he has his own category, like it's mentioned in the Brahma Samhita, Maheshtam, Haridam, and Maheshtam, Haridam, and Devidam. Devidam, Devi refers to to Durga, and Durga, she rules the material energy. Durga, the word Durga is Durga, D-U-R, means fort or enclosure, and Ga means difficult. So this material energy is ruled by Durga, which is like a fort, and it's difficult to get out. It's called Devidam, the abode of Durga Devi. And then you have Haridam, which is the spiritual world, and then you have Maheshtam, which is between the material and spiritual world, whereas the abode of Lord Shiva, Kailash, exists like that, and Shiva expands himself. Shiva is a very difficult personality to understand because he plays many roles at the same time. He is Vaishnava Yada Shambhu. He is the greatest of all Vaishnavas, mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. He serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead by engaging the living entities according to their different propensities in the material world. But at the same time, he is at the same time above the living entities because he is actually born of Lord Vishnu himself. He's coming from Vishnu himself. But because he touches the material energy, he has a different role. And sometimes due to the touch of the material energy, we see Lord Shiva becomes affected by that touch. He's a deva. In one of his roles, he's a deva. And people worship the demigods for material benefits. So people pray to the Lord Shiva, to Lord Brahma, for something material. And Shiva, if they perform the proper austerities, and he will grant them their desire, just like we have the example of one demon. He wanted to become, he had a very strange desire. He was cutting off parts of his flesh and throwing it into the fire and chanting the names of Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva appeared to him and said, "What do you want, rascal?" And he said, "I want the quality or the ability, the power, that anyone's head I touch will crack into pieces." And Lord Shiva, of course, he granted that boon because the demon would have kept doing that and then he would have threw himself in the fire. So in order to prevent that, Lord Shiva granted him his benediction. But what did he do, that demon? He wanted to test out the benediction after receiving it from Lord Shiva by touching the head of Lord Shiva. Why? Because he was attracted to Parvati and he wanted to kill Lord Shiva. So after giving him the benediction, the demon came at him. And then Lord Shiva realized he was in trouble. So he's fleeing from this demon, and the demon's chasing him. Very strategically, Lord Shiva runs past Lord Vishnu, who is in the form of a young boy. And when he sees what's happening, of course he knows, he stops the demon and says, "What are you doing?" He says, "Well, I received this benediction that anyone's head I touch will crack, and so I'm going to use it on Lord Shiva." And Vishnu used his Maya and said, "Actually, Lord Shiva has not been very good lately, very well. He's giving out benedictions that don't work. And I can prove it to you. Just touch your own head and you'll see it has no power." So by the illusion of Lord Vishnu, the demon touched his own head and then he cracked and he was destroyed. And Shiva was saved by Lord Vishnu. This principle also, or this particular pastime, illustrates the difference and the gradation between Shiva and Vishnu. Sometimes it says they're the same and sometimes it says they're different. Here we understand that actually Vishnu is the source of Shiva, and other times it says that Vishnu and Shiva are on the same level, because there is one particular deity called Harihara. It's in Mayapur, one of the islands of Mayapur, where it's half black and half white. One side of the deity, right down the middle, is black and the other one is white, to indicate how Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu come together also. And therefore, in one sense, the element of Shiva is also an element of Vishnu, but changed, just like if you add a culture to milk, then that milk becomes yogurt. And although there's nothing but milk there, it still cannot function as milk. It functions as yogurt. So Shiva is actually coming from Vishnu, but at the same time, he functions differently as a servant of Vishnu, carrying out the will of Vishnu, like that. And sometimes you see even Shiva, because he's a demigod, different personalities come to him for material benedictions. Just like, who was it? It was Ravana. Ravana wanted to attack Lord Shiva. So he was on a rampage. So he came to the abode of Kailash, and he decided to pick up Kailash with his 10 arms. He was very powerful. And when he started to pick it up, Shiva understood this rascal is trying to disturb my relationships with my wife here. He was disturbed. So he pressed his foot down, and all of Ravana's hands were caught underneath the abode. He couldn't move. And then he started offering prayers to Lord Shiva. Shiva came and granted him release from that situation. And because he pleased Lord Shiva, he asked, Lord Shiva said, "What can I offer you?" He said, "I want some benediction." And then he received the Pasupati weapon, a very powerful weapon from Lord Shiva. And he also used it in the war, but at one time, at one point, when Vishnu, in the form of Lord Ramachandra, who was actually Vishnu, who sometimes we say Narayan, and Vishnu are also the same and different. When they were fighting, of course, Ravana was destroyed by Ram. And then before he was dying, he called out to Lord Shiva for help. But Lord Shiva didn't go. And Parvati was asking him, "Your devotee's in trouble and you're not going." He said, "Yes, because this is Vishnu himself." But then again, there's another pastime which happened after that, when Krishna was in Dwarka, and there was one powerful demon called Banasura who used to play drums, and he had the benediction that he could play so many drums because he had so many arms, and he was very powerful. And so Lord Shiva was very pleased, and he gave him a benediction that he could not be defeated by anyone. But then he became very powerful, and he couldn't fight with anyone because no one would fight with him because they knew he was invincible. So he had 1,000 arms. He would take his 1,000 arms and just punch mountains and pulverize mountains into dust. And he was getting very anxious. He wanted to fight with someone. So he wanted to fight with Shiva. Shiva told him, "You rascal, someday you'll meet that person, and that's the last time you'll do any fighting." And so that later came up when Banasura's daughter, Usha, was connected with Krishna's son, Aniruddha, and Banasura wasn't in favor of that, and he became angry, and he captured Aniruddha, and Krishna came to save him, his son, and there was a fight between between Banasura and Lord Kṛṣṇa. And Krishna cut off all of his arms except 4. And then while he was fighting, he called out to Lord Shiva for help, and Lord Shiva came and started fighting with Lord Vishnu or Krishna. And that was an interesting battle. And then, as it describes, there were 2 powerful weapons. One was the heat-creating weapon called the Agni Dwara, and then there's the Shiva Dwara, which is Krishna had what is called the freezing weapon, and Shiva had the heat-producing weapon. And he threw out excessive heat, but Krishna countered it with intolerable cold. And when cold comes, it makes heat disappear. And Shiva was being defeated. And at one time, Shiva prayed to Krishna, and Krishna stopped the fight and told him, "Why are you fighting with me?" And so at that particular time, he was honoring that principle that when one's devotee, disciple, is in trouble, it's up to the spiritual master to do something to free that devotee from whatever difficulties they have. Yeah. As long as the disciple stays chaste to the spiritual master and prays to the spiritual master for mercy. So that's a very interesting pastime. So that was at one time. One time he didn't fight with the Lord in the form of Chandran, and the second time when Krishna came, he fought. So that was interesting. But it seems like he understood. Later, of course, he maybe didn't recognize Krishna in his form, and therefore he was fighting with Krishna. Okay, so therefore these are some pastimes of Lord Shiva and his manifestation of Rudra, who is, when the original Udra, who is from the spiritual world, he's called Sadashiva. That's Sadashiva and Mahavishnu manifest as one manifestation, and that is Advaita Acharya, who is a combination of both. The original Shiva and the expansion of Sankarshan for the creation or the manifestation of the material energy during the interim period when it's time for the next creation. So that's the position of Advaita Acharya, who appeared in this world as one of the associates of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya used to worship him, but Advaita Acharya didn't like that because he was older than Lord Chaitanya. He was actually 52 years older. And Lord Chaitanya worshipped him as being superior because Lord Chaitanya is in the role of his own devotee. But Dvaitacharya didn't like that, and so he did certain things to get Lord Chaitanya angry, and that's a long story. How Lord Chaitanya actually got really angry at him and started beating him. And then as he was beating him, Lord Dvaitacharya was dancing in ecstasy, saying, "Now you have accepted me as your servant." And that's what he was trying to do. But then the Lord, stopped, realizing that he was just doing that just to get that mercy. But Lord Chaitanya, in his role as the Supreme Personality of God, in his role as a devotee, was following the etiquette that those who are in a superior position should be worshipped. And of course, in that sense that the Lord Chaitanya used to go to Advaitacharya for instructions. His brother Sarup, Vishnu Rup, Vishnu, uh, yeah, Sarupa, he also went to Advaitacharya for instructions. So Lord Chaitanya saw him as being superior, and he was also the personality of Godhead. But he is not the original personality of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya is Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Anahiyonya. He is that original boy of Vrindavan, known as Krishna, who has manifest again in the dual form of Radha and Krishna in one body in order to taste transcendental happiness in the role of his own devotee, Srimati Radharani, or his internal energy, pure internal energy. So we should read and study these difficult parts of the Srimad Bhagavatam. They're quite technical, they're interesting, very scientific understanding, and it also helps to clarify that the source of all existence is the Supreme Personality of God and how he manifests everything directly and indirectly through his different energies. Okay, so we can stop there and open it up for discussion.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for the wonderful pastimes and the discussion and explanation. I definitely was relishing the pastimes that I forgot how time just flew by. Thank you, Maharaj. Would like to ask devotees if you have any questions, any comments, any reflection or doubts, please do raise your hand or you can put it in the chat and I'll be happy to read it. Silpesh, you're on the roll. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees. Guru Maharaj, these demigods, do they take on material bodies when they come here? And if so, why can't we see them anymore?
The demigods don't come as they used to come because people don't perform proper rituals anymore. And at the same time, the quality of the earth planet has decreased. People were more pious and more religious in the past, and now they don't come. If they do come, they come in an unmanifested form where you can't see them. Yeah. But they are Jiva Shakti, but they're powerful. Some of them are devotees and some of them are not devotees. And all the demigods are not of the same categories. Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are great devotees. They are the superior demigods. Narada is the sage among demigods. He is a great deva also. And they worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But many of the demigods also are in the position of desiring to be in that position. So that's a material desire. Lord Brahma wants to be Lord Brahma. And he functions in that. He plays his role nicely, but to have a material desire of wanting to serve in a certain way, have a desire to serve in a certain way, is not pure devotional service. Pure devotional service is abhyadali to sunya jnana karma anavritam anukulena Krishna silanam bhakti uttamam, free from any personal desire for material gain or philosophical speculation on the absolute truth, has to be for Krishna and has to be done with a desire to please Krishna. So the demigods are not pure devotees, they're sakama bhaktas. They have desire, but it's a desire in the mode of goodness, but it's still a desire. So they used to come years ago more often, but now not so much, because the quality of the conditioned souls on the earth planet has dropped. People are more sinful nowadays. But they also come in a less manifested form to somehow assist the Lord in his acting. Many of the demigods sometimes take birth in our movement as the children of our devotees. Some of these children are actually demigods. They come as children of devotees in our movement. Not all of them, but many of them. And that's also there. They want to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, so they know they can't get that full mercy as being demigods, so they want to come and take birth in the ISKCON movement so they can be devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Prabhupada talks about that, yeah.
Is it correct to say that, so these demigods that desire these material positions or positions of power, that Krishna actually sanctions that, yet they don't worship Krishna themselves?
No, they worship Krishna, but their worship is mixed. Sakama bhaktas. It's called, what is it called? It's called Mishra Bhakta. Karma, Jnana Mishra Bhakta, Karma Mishra Bhakta. Mishra means mixed or not pure. They want that position of demigods to serve the Lord in that position. But that's still a tinge. It's not pure. Lord Chaitanya says, Nadanam, Najanam, Nasundarim, Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamaya, Manma Janmani, Janmani Ishware, Bhavatad Bhakti Haituki Twayi. I don't want wealth, I don't want power, I don't want position, I don't want the pleasure of the opposite sex. I don't even want to be known as a great orator on the Vedic knowledge. I simply want your devotional service life after life. That's pure devotional service. Savai pum sam paro dhammo. Yato bhakti yahoksaje hoituki. Hoituki means unalloyed. Hoituki apratiyata yayatma supersedati. So, yeah, they're mixed. You'll see, just like sometimes when Indra was threatened in his position during the time when Nanda Maharaj stopped doing the sacrifices, he became angry. He didn't even recognize Krishna. And therefore, he tried to destroy the residents of Vrindavan. When Lord Brahma saw this little boy killed this powerful demon called Aghasura, and all the other demigods were cheering, he couldn't recognize that boy as being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So sometimes the demigods, they actually do something opposite according to their own. They have a powerful position and they want to keep their position, and they also have to do their service to the Lord. So the demigods have to protect the universal affairs by acting in that role according to their role that they play. As the demigod of water, the demigod of air, the demigod of, then the supreme demigod or the leader of the demigods, Lord Indra himself. And as Brahma, he's even superior to Indra. So demigods have different roles, different services like that. And some of them are pure devotees, and some of them are not pure devotees. There's 33 million demigods. That means there's 33. Most of them are all grihastas. So that means that there is also an equal amount of demigoddesses also.
Hope that helps, Sulfur. Those are very good questions, though. Very nice. Thank you. Prasida Prabhu, you can go next.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances in your lotus feet, Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, there is one pastime of Gopeshwar Mahadev, which is exist in Vrindavan, and there was some, Lord Shiva could not enter in the, you can say, Ras Lila. So, what was the pastime? And second question is, yesterday I was listening one lecture where, and during the glorification of Prahlad Maharaj, Narad Muni was telling to Lord Shiva that Prahlad Maharaj is a better devotee than me. So, can you please explain what is the, at the position level where the Prahlad Maharaj exists?
There's two questions. You want to know about Gopesh Mahadev, or you're talking about Prahlad Maharaj's positions that is
Guru Maharaj,
superior?
both. Guru Maharaj, first I want to hear about Gopeshwar Mahadev, and then the position of Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Shiva.
Well,
Both.
Gopesh Mahadev Lord Mahadev understood that there's no higher service than the gopis. So he wanted to also take part as being a gopi. So he came to Vrindavan and he was there. And it was right around the time when Krishna was going to dance. He dances the rasa dance every night, but he has two major rasa dances during the Sharat season and the Chaita season, in the spring and in the fall. So Shiva wanted to take part in that rasa dance as a gopi, but he wasn't a gopi. So Lalita, she saw him there in Vrindavan. She said, "What are you doing here? This is only no men allowed. This is only for ladies." And he explained his situation. She said, "All right, if you want to become a gopi, you have to transform yourself out of Lord Shiva." So he was willing to do that. And she told him, "You take bath in this lake here." It was her kund. And then he did, and he came out, and he was a little gopi with a little, but he still had that crescent moon on his head. When Krishna saw that little gopi, he started laughing. And he understood it was Shiva. He said, "Shiva, this is not for you." So then he told him, "If you want to take part in the rasa dance, you can guard the rasa dance." So he became Gopesh Mahadev. He takes different roles. He is Dikpala. Dikpala means he guards the different positions or in different directions by serving the Lord as a guardian of Krishna's pastimes, like that. So that's he wanted to be a gopi, but Krishna said not possible. Even Lakshmi wanted to be a gopi, but she couldn't do it either because she wasn't willing to give up her mood as being in the mood of Aishwarya Bhav. And you have to come to the mood of Madhurya Ras or sweetness, where the gopis, they have no understanding of Krishna as the Supreme Lord, and they worship him as the beautiful boy of Vrindavan. They love him because he's Krishna, but their love is perfect, but still they don't love him because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so she couldn't give up that role as being the wife of Lord Narayan. And therefore she stayed in the Aishwarya Bhav and couldn't enter into the rasa dance either. So the second part of your question was what? Well,
What
Prahlad
Prahlad Bha's position against the Lord Shiva?
is greater than Lord Shiva?
Because Vaishnav Nam Yatha Sambhu, as per the we hear Vaishnav Yatha Sambhu is the highest position of Vaishnavas. So he was telling to Narad Muni that he's superior than me in devotion in a devotional service.
Well, that's Vaishnava humility. And in one sense, Prahlad Maharaj he didn't have any material desires. He worshiped the Lord simply out of pure love for the Lord. I think if you go to the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, divided into two different episodes, where there's a gradation of devotion towards the Lord from one level to another. And Prahlad Maharaj is considered to be higher. What you're talking about is that pastime in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, where Narada is narrating that and explaining that, yeah, higher than Lord Shiva is Prahlad because he worships in pure love.
I hope that helped Rashida Prabhu. Very nice questions, though. Very nice. I'm enjoying these questions. Amritanam, you're next. Maharaj, I'm going to toss the host to Parikshit. Please forgive me, Maharaj.
No, I can't. I'm not going to forgive you.
Thank you,
Begging for
Kṛṣṇa.
you.
Accept the humble obeisance. Yeah, she has to start work. I'm actually almost made her late.
Sorry, Maharaj.
I'll only forgive you when you don't leave.
Hare Krishna.
In the
Amritanam
mean-
Mataji. Sorry.
In the meantime, we understand, but at the same time, we are unhappy. But of course, Parikshit is comparable. He gives it all he has, and
it's not enough.
they say the wife's always the better half anyway.
Mars, like I said, he's an old man. That's the thing.
That is true.
Well, I understand what that means.
Amritanam, it's all yours. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
One last question. When is your training program ended?
March, I have about, I'm hoping in about 2 weeks, a week and a half to two. The good thing is they are liking what they are seeing in me. So I'm hoping it'll be, as they said, week and a half to two. So I'm going to pray for that, Maharaj.
You graduate ahead of time, and so you would.
I'm trying my best, Maharaj, to speed up the graduation.
Good. Let me know. I'll talk to the teacher.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Amita now, Mataji, please go on.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. My humble obeisances, Guru Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Guru Maharaj, I have one question, but before that, one follow-up from what you were talking to, the follow-up of Shilpesh Prabhu, what he asked about the demigods. So, demigods does have higher bodies than us. We have limited, I mean, more than us, they do have. So, why do they take birth here to relish the full bhakti? As you said, that they take birth in our movement as well to have love of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Who recognize Lord Chaitanya and recognize that the Sankirtan movement is the highest expression of pure devotional service on the planet right now. So they want to take part in that movement as devotees of Lord Chaitanya. But Prabhupada didn't say all of the demigods. He said there's those who have that understanding and they pray to take birth in our society. They recognize that ISKCON is the movement of Lord Kṛṣṇa to purify the world. Well, many of the other demigods, they're more attached to their role as demigods in the heavenly planets, and they don't pray like that.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. So my question was, okay, coming to my question now. So, Guru Maharaj, when we talk about tolerance, is tolerance enough in itself, or should it be combined with the humility when we offer it to the Lord?
Well, in that verse, Lord Chaitanya glorifies these qualities as being the qualities of a Vaishnava, humility and tolerance, both. Both of them are necessary in order to make spiritual advancement. Tolerance manifests itself in different ways according to the scriptures. One accepts some difficulty for a higher principle. It's like we accept the four regulative principles. So we have to tolerate not getting attracted to these activities, although we may also have a desire to. And therefore we accept this as a necessary austerity for our spiritual advancement. Humility is similar, but it's different also. Humility is more about identity, to understand our position in relationship to the Supreme Lord and our role in the activities of devotional service. So humility is more or less the principle of understanding that by the mercy of the Lord, we can perform any of the activities that are given to us by the spiritual master. We become empowered to do that, but the humility means that I'm small, but I can still do wonderful things on behalf of the Lord, by the mercy of the Lord. Humility is empowering. Humility means Krishna is great and I am his eternal servant. Humility means whatever I can do is simply the mercy of the Lord, not my own abilities or my own qualifications. These things are given to me by the mercy of the Lord through my emphasis, through my endeavor in devotional service. Humility is not assuming anything. We accept the mercy of the Lord as it comes. That's humility.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. So the last statement was quite enough for me to make that thing clear. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shiv Kumar, Prabhu?
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisance at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So Maharaj, I have one question on the class, Maharaj, but before that, I'm kind of interested to ask a question on the situation you went through, Maharaj, as a learning that we can take as sadhakas. So when we are put through some hardship, Maharaj, the first response from the mind is, why Krishna, are you doing this to me? And it seems it's very difficult to get away from the question when we are put through any hardship, Maharaj. So we just wanted to hear your wisdom as the ordeal that you went through. It seems it's beyond imagination that even at our age, at our physical this thing that we can bear. So some words around that, Maharaj, will help us.
Well, it wasn't as bad as it sounds like. I had dissociation of two very wonderful Vaishnavas who are fixed up grihastas in the temple in Pune. And so there was the three of us went through the whole thing. But then I did ask that question to Krishna, and then I also assumed one of the answers, and then I could understand that what I was assuming wasn't the answer for the reason. And then I thought of another reason why Krishna put me through it, and then I understood. Yes,
Okay.
that's the answer.
Okay.
There was a learning experience that I needed to learn something.
Okay.
But it was fun. David was thinking I was at the end of the world, but well, I mean, it was difficult because 23 hours traffic is no when the traffic's not even moving.
Yes, Maharaj.
And you're surrounded by gigantic trucks and buses. There was hardly any cars. Mostly there were trucks and buses.
Yes, Maharaj.
And then I had to cancel my flight. And then I booked the flight for the next day, which was this morning. And I just made that flight just by after everything was over. And so I stayed up the whole night. Didn't take, went straight through and went right to the airport. And got on the plane. I had some time when I got to the airport. So it was nice. I didn't feel tired. That's the whole thing.
Okay.
Krishna gave me some energy. I think the devotees were also praying. I have to give credit for prayers that I received from all of the devotees. I think Devi might have, she was leading the prayer session. He was going to send a helicopter. I was thinking, how is it possible? No helicopter could have got there anyway.
Thank you, Maharaj. I actually personally take inspiration, Maharaj, that any hardship that I am put through, at least these instances kind of gives me inspiration that if at your level, Maharaj, if you are going through such hardship, why not me at my level? So I at least take this inspiration to kind of cut down my complaints and kind of lamentations. So I take that inspiration. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, there were some hardships. I had to miss my flight, and then I couldn't get any other flights the same day. I had to wait this morning to get a flight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj, through all of this that you came to actually teach us also. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Srimati Mataji, please unmute yourself. And after that, then Sri Devi. Mataji. Srimati Mataji, please unmute yourself.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. It was so interesting that I was reading 3rd canto, 12th chapter, this 9th chapter. In that also, the same discussion is happening in Srila Prabhupada purports about demigod worship and how the demigods, what's the position of demigods. And in that, Srila Prabhupada mentioned a word which is called as a pseudo-devotee. The demigod worshippers are called pseudo-devotees. So I was like hearing this word first time, and they are not the real devotees, they are non-devotees, but they are pseudo-devotees. That means that they are like worshipping the demigods. That's why they are called pseudo-devotees. But my question is, Guru Maharaj, like they have devotion in their heart, but they are just putting their devotion in the wrong place. So and also usually Prabhupada many times says that we have dormant Krishna consciousness in our hearts. So why they are called as pseudo devotees? They can be called as devotees, right? So
because they're still within the modes of material nature. They're worshiping in the mode of goodness, which is still the material energy. And they're attached to their position. To be the people in the material world who worship the demigods, Krishna calls them Rita Gyan. Their intelligence is destroyed. Because what the demigods can supply is coming from him. Krishna also says in the same series of instructions. He calls them less intelligent. And just like in the material world, there are people who are not born in India, but what do? They're chasing after material desires. People in India understand that, yes, I'm chasing after material desires, but there's a demigod who can supply me that material desire. So they do the worship in order to get. So it's the same thing. One is worshiping for material desires, the other ones are just chasing after. It's the same thing. That's why it's called pseudo devotees. They're simply chasing after the energy of the Lord for some. They want the same thing that is in the material world but on a more qualified, or not qualified, but a more glorious level. Longer life, sense gratification, drinking soma ras. But the Prabhupada also says, yeah, but the demigods, many times they find themselves in difficulty because the demons attack the heavenly planets sometimes. And there's a fight. That's mentioned throughout, especially in the 6th canto, when the demigods lost their entire kingdom. And that's when Diti started to pray, because demigods are also sons of Aditi and Kashyapa. So she prayed, and then eventually her husband gave her an austerity to perform so they could get the kingdom back. And that austerity was that the benefit of that austerity was the Supreme Lord Vamanadeva appeared in order to recapture the demigod's position and also to teach the principles of pure devotional service.
Yes, Karena.
Correct.
Thank you so much. In this chapter, it's very interesting. Prabhupada is explaining more about demigods, a lot of information. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but Bodhananda Saraswati in one of his verses, he just calls it Akash Pushpayate. Akash means sky and push means flowers. Flowers that grow in the sky, but there's no such thing as flowers growing in the sky. So he compares the so-called happiness of material benefits that are given by the demigods as just flowers in the sky. No comparison to the happiness that one can experience by worshiping in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One is material, one is spiritual. Although it's quite grand. You see even people in this world today, they are very, very rich, have many, many facilities for sense gratification, enjoy so many opportunities to do whatever they want, go wherever they want, control whoever they want. They become very powerful. But so the demigods are like that. They can do all of that things. Prabhupada said the demigods, just like Prabhupada made the example, just like you see a little ant on the ground. Of course, you don't do it because you're devotees, but you can immediately just crush the ant like it was nothing. The demigod, Prabhupada said the demigods could also do that to you. They don't do that because they're devotees, that's why. Or at least they're pious in it. But that's the power they have. But when Indra tried to show his power in relationship to Krishna, Krishna showed him that your power is nothing compared to mine.
Right.
So there's one thing you have to be careful of, and Prabhupada also said it. Prabhupada said, many of my disciples will attain Swargaloka, will become demigods in the next life, because they haven't reached the point of pure devotional service. Although they engage in devotional service, they still have material attachments.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
But if we take shelter of Lord Chaitanya and get into the Sankirtan movement, then we can, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and the Sankirtan movement, we can destroy all of these desires for material happiness in this world and taste the happiness of, what is it called? Transcendental happiness, or that happiness that's not dependent on getting something from this material energy. Because we live in one planet, and there's billions of planets in the material world, some higher, some lower. We live in the middle planet. The higher planets are, you can't imagine the luxury they have in those planets. What people in this material world dream about. But still, it's temporary and it's not devotional.
Yeah. That's factory. Things good?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Shridevi Mataji, please unmute yourself.
Thank you. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you for today's class. My question is two. When we say, one is on this statement by Srila Prabhupada, many of my disciples will become demigods because they have not reached pure devotional service as they still have material attachments. Now, what is the position of these demigods once they have taken birth like that? Is their devotional service, because that's eternal and it's eternally in their bank account, do they remember that and pick up where they left off, or they get so overwhelmed by all the sense gratification that's available that they forget all about it and plunge headlong into indriya priti and enjoying their senses? Or what happens to them from that point on?
Well, it's not all the same. Suchinam simbatam gehe yoga brashtat pajayate. They take a higher birth, but in that higher birth, they may also come into rich families. And therefore, being in a rich family is a benediction given, so you don't have to worry about your personal maintenance. You can focus on devotional service, but they get carried away by those riches. And then again, try to enjoy the material world and also can fall down from that position. So it's up to the individual. Some of them don't do that, and some of them do. Some of them who are rich and they come in good families, they come in contact with devotees, and then they also engage in devotional service. We have the example of our Ambarish. He was born in the family of the Fords. The Henry Ford was the person who invented the Ford automobile, and he became a multi-millionaire. So he was born in that family, and but he somehow came in contact with the devotees, and he had no attachment for all of that wealth and all of that fame that comes with that wealth and position and power, and he used everything. He gave millions and millions. He was actually the heir to that whole fortune too. He was the grandson of Henry Ford. And what did he do? He gave millions of dollars, and he became one of the main persons in building the TOVP, Temple of Vedic Planetarium. He's given about at least, I don't know, $40 million to that project. So he's using his money to propagate religious principles. He's a devotee, he's initiated.
Yes. So they will take birth after a period of time in heaven. They will come back, Suchinam Shimatam Gehe, and then they will pick up where they left off. So they still have to come back to this material world to complete, or rather, they have to come down to this earth planet and complete their Krishna consciousness if they want to go back home.
Generally, yeah. Or they may also rise up and take birth in the heavenly planets too. So it's not all one way, because karma is so intricate. It manifests itself in a form of a birth. Where that birth manifests is due to the quality of that karma. And Krishna never really, he even doesn't comment about how karma works. He says it's too difficult to understand.
Okay.
So not everyone will pick up and begin again. Some will take advantage of the good birth and try to enjoy those facilities and again become entangled in material energy.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. I got that. Thank you. Should I wait to ask the question I have about one line in the purport, or should I continue right now?
Ask Parikshit, he's in charge.
Okay. Parikshit Prabhu, you decide.
Go ahead.
Okay. Here it is said that Sadashiv sometimes appear from heads of Brahma, sometimes from the head of Vishnu, but the annihilator Rudra is born from Sankarshan. So when we say Sankarshan, does that mean Mahavishnu?
Well, Sankarshan is, Mahavishnu is an expansion of Sankarshan. He is the initial
Right.
expansion to bring about the next creation. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
I'm still well aware of what Chandramauli Swami's body's been through. So, are there any questions? There are no questions in the chat. That's true. With any final questions from devotees? If not, then it wouldn't be fair for me to have you drag on chant Japa when your body's been through what you've been through. So, I think without permission.
I was waiting for that.
I think devotees would agree with me that we should let Maharaj rest today.
No. I want to chant, because if you let me rest, I'll wind up chanting anyway. So
okay. All right then.
Prabhu, Parikshit Prabhu, Revati has a question.
Okay. Revati Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. My question is, Guru Maharaj, demigods, as you have mentioned, they are like empowered by Krishna, and they have certain service to do. But still they have a desires, because they want to be a demigod, they want to serve Krishna in certain way. But pure devotees, they are completely like, pure. They don't have any desires. So pure devotees, Vaishnavas, they're higher than demigods.
You just answered the question.
Okay.
Everything, gradation is based on how much one is engaged in activities. So the demigods are still tinged by the material energy, and the devotees, although they work with the material energy, they don't have desire for enjoying the material energy. They're not looking for anything. A devotee wants to serve the Lord for the pleasure of the Lord. That's devotion. If the devotee wants to serve the Lord, but they want something material, then you're pretty much you're worshiping the demigods indirectly. You want power, you want position, you want wealth. At the same time, you want to be a devotee, then you're actually worshiping the demigods. But you say, I'm worshiping Krishna. But you're not, because that material desire takes you towards the demigods.
So Lord Shiva also is also has certain desires, because Lord Shiva is called like Vaishnava Shambhu. He's the greatest of all Vaishnavas. But still, as you mentioned, he still has certain desires.
Shiva is very special. He's above all of the demigods, even Lord Brahma, because he plays a certain role in uplifting the conditioned souls. He's very powerful. He also is as powerful as he also knows the hearts of all living entities. He's unique in his own category. He's a devotee of Ram, mostly. He is not so much he has material desires. He gets affected by the material energy that he's trying to use. In other words, he touches the mode of ignorance and becomes affected by the mode of ignorance. Brahma touches the mode of passion, becomes affected by the mode of passion. But Vishnu touches the mode of goodness, but doesn't become affected by the mode of goodness. because Vishnu is transcendental. These are the three categories of control. Shiva controls the mode of ignorance. He uplifts the conditioned souls who are in the mode of ignorance to a higher status so they can worship the Supreme Lord. Many of his followers are people who are in those same modes, but they are attracted to him.
Yes.
And he gives them material benefits also. There's a nice discussion in the Bhagavatam that the devotees of Lord Shiva are quite wealthy, and the devotees of Lord Vishnu are poor.
Mm. Okay, Guru Maharaj. So Shiva is still a demigod. Guru Maharaj is still, we should
He's
say,
Mahadev.
is Mahadev. Okay.
He's in his own category.
Okay, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
And
Thank you.
I mentioned that Haridam, Maheshdam, and Devidam.
It's between material and spiritual. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
He's almost as good as Krishna, but still, because he touches the mode of ignorance, he gets affected by that mode sometimes. And he's a great personality. I mean, Shiva is very great, very powerful. He's a devotee. Vaishnava Yada Shambhu, he's the greatest of all devotees. But he'll play the role of a demigod, he'll play the role of a devotee. So he plays different roles. And he manifests himself in different forms, and he plays different roles in those different forms. He's the most difficult person to understand because he's quite diverse in his activities.
Okay, Guru Maharaj. So as the devotees, we can worship Lord Shiva, Guru Maharaj, in that mode.
You can worship Lord Shiva so you can get the mercy of Lord Kṛṣṇa.
Yeah, in that mode we can worship. Yeah.
Well, you can't worship him. You can pray to him for mercy.
Mm.
No, it's the Bhagavad Gita says worship is only for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To honor the demigods is proper, but worship is only for the Supreme. You know, if somebody is close to the Supreme and is very dear to the Supreme, if you get their favor, you get the favor of the Supreme also. Just like how do you get the favor of the Supreme? By getting the favor of the spiritual master. Please the spiritual master, then you please Kṛṣṇa. She was very, very, very powerful and very dear to the Lord.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, thank you for a very wonderful question. Any other questions? Okay,
I'll be right.
so not.
Prabhu,
Yeah,
there is
Maharaj.
one question in the chat, Prabhu.
Another one. Okay. Yeah, there's one that just popped up. Radha Bhakti. Okay. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Glory to the Papa. What's the difference between Dhruva's devotion and that of the demigods? Because his desires got purified rapidly, demigods seem to take long. Okay. That's the question, Marge. He says, what's the difference between Dhruva's devotion and that of the demigods?
Looks quite
Because
similar. Yeah, but when Dhruva actually saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he didn't give up he gave up his position of worshiping and became All he wanted was devotional service to Krishna. Indra, he even meets Krishna, worships Krishna also, but he's still attached to his role as a demigod. Managriva and Nalakuvara, they were sons of Kuvera, and they were cursed to be as trees, but in the backyard in Vrindavan. And then the pastime is that Krishna knocked those trees down, and these two demigods came out, and they worshiped the Lord, and they glorified the Lord. But what was the conclusion? They went back to their position as demigods. They didn't say, the heck with our role as demigods, we want to become your devotee. They didn't say that.
So,
you have different kinds of devotees. There are as many different devotees as there are different colors. How many colors are there? There's three primary colors. You mix three, and you mix them in different ways, and you get 9, and you get 9. You mix those 9 in different ways, you get 81. So there's so many colors. So in the same way, there's so many different types of living entities, different shades of bhakti, different shades of material desires, combinations. It's unlimited. There are 8,400,000 species of life, indicates 8,400,000 different ways to interact with the material energy.
Right. Thank you very much for the explanation. Right. And Irish Temple answered. I think that's Damodar that asked the question.
Like, look, every one of us here, individuals, but each one of us have a different mix of bhakti and material desires. So some of us are more pure, some of us are less pure, some of us are inclined to Krishna consciousness and don't want anything else. Others want to still enjoy the material energy and be devoted. There's so many degrees. But all of these degrees can change by bhakti. They can, you can go up, you can go down.
Welcome.
I'm still looking for whoever's making that noise. Can't find it. Oh, here we go.
Mr. Data has got
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So yes, it's just following the footsteps of the great souls by following the process given by the spiritual master, who is representing his spiritual master, who is ultimately coming from the line of Lord Chaitanya. If we follow Lord Chaitanya's program for Krishna consciousness, it's very, very powerful. And it's very, very transcendentally happy. We become happy. Not just happy.
All right, did Willis. Well, I'm sure he's gotten his beat back now. I've made Sridevi and Srimati co-hosts, so you can pull up, either one of you can pull up the pictures of Adi Lila when we do the japa.
Okay.
Sure, Parikshit Prabhu, I'm so sorry. I really have to leave because I have a therapy session actually beginning at 7.
Okay.
I'm just keeping them on hold. Please forgive me.
Srimati's around. I'm looking.
Seems to be.
Okay.
I can see her name there. I don't know if she's hiding behind breakfast or what.
Okay. With the co-hosts
Hare Krishna.
now.
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I can do it.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. So the Buddhists, thank you for coming up. So please stay for chanting japa with Maharaj, who's been very kind, despite what he's been through, that is showing us the importance of japa. Because many of us would have chickened out in the situation that he went through, but still wants a chance, that tells you, learn from that. Hare Krishna. Okay. Maharaj, thank you again. And we can start jumping now. Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
I've got to grab my beat.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare. Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram Ram. Oh. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna. Krishna Hare Krishna. Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Krishna. Krishna Hare Krishna. Hare Ram Hare Krishna. Hare Ram Hare Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.